Yo, apprentices, acolytes, and fellow lords of the Sith. Coming into the Dark Temple, visited my Mara Jade, Luke Skywalker, and Kyle Katarn, and so many of the Force sensitives like yourself. I'm Lord Dagovere, and we got this crazy-ish going today with the storm. So good to see you. Apprentices and acolytes, thank you so much for being here. Let's go. How y'all doing today? Yo, shoutouts to Logan, the first one in the chat. Even before the Celestials. Even before the Rakata. Even before Waru. And of course, Skywalker, so good to see you. Rebel Soldier Dom, let's freaking go. Fateful Media, Skywalker Academy. Can I get everybody ready up inside the chat? Let's go. I'm muted. Oh my god. Okay. All right, let's try this again. Okay. So, so there's a huge storm where I'm at. Okay, because it's in Florida, so there's thunderstorms all the time, and it's taken out my power like 3 or 4 times. If it happens again, okay, I'm going to probably go live on TikTok. Or Instagram, and if you guys have one of those, please join that one, because I just can't put my computer at risk. So, oh my god, I'm so sorry, guys, man. I don't really like not streaming or not doing content. I'm very, very dedicated to a lot of this, and it really gets under my skin when I'm not allowed to consistently do what I want to do, whether it's like working out or making content. I'm a creature of habit, so if it's this time and I'm not doing something, it frustrates me and I don't want to take a day off. So yeah, if that happens again, guys, I'm going to let you know that please check one of those platforms, so we can move on from there. All right, so check TikTok, because if it goes out of power again, I think if I go live on YouTube on my phone, it'll be a completely different stream, and I don't even know if you guys can find it. But yeah, okay. Whew. All right, so let's try that again. Okay, coming into the Dark Temple, visited by Mara Jade, Luke Skywalker, Kyle Katarn, and so many of the Force sensitives like yourself. I'm Lord Dagovere. It's so good to see you. Whoa, welcome everybody. Thank you so much. Oh my gosh, man. Yeah, dude, it's crazy. There was literally a lightning strike right outside the house. It was insane. BOE Laser, it's so good to see you. Anthony, so good to see you. Trent, my guy, so good to see you. Faithful Media, Skywalker Academy, Logan, let's freaking go. Rebel Soldier Dom, can I please get ready up inside the chat? Okay. All right, so are we good now? Are we good? Maybe what I'll do, is if you guys are all in the Discord. Oh, and also, Og, I see you as well, fam. Everybody welcome Og with a ready up. Yeah, man. If it happens again, maybe I'll do Discord, so at least we can just talk. But yeah, dude, it's crazy. It's I can't believe it's knocked out the power like 3 times already. Even before, around 7 o'clock, it was like, I think it knocked out the power like 2 or 3 times. So if I vanish, you guys know that clearly the Star Forge hit me, all right? Yo, Jedi Connor in the chat. David Torres coming in. Let's go. Can I get everybody to welcome David Torres and Jedi Connor with a ready up? Let's go, my guys. Let's freaking go. Yeah. Love seeing you guys, man. Hope you guys are doing well. Let's go. I'm trying to make sure that the music is coming in, but I'm not even sure that it is. We shall see. Okay. But yeah, man, how you guys doing today? Ready up. Yo, Connor, we playing clubs again tonight or tomorrow? I got my fix, bro. I'm going crazy, bro. I'm jonesing. Skywalker Academy says Palpatine using that Force storm. Dude, It's insane. Dude, I love talking about Palpatine's Force Storm, bro. It is crazy how strong that ability is. That was a Jedi ability. That was a Jedi ability first, and then they decided that because it was literally causing ripples in the space-time continuum, they decided, yeah, maybe it's not a light side of the Force ability. That is insane. In its base form, it's destroying the surfaces of planets, and it's also it's also causing so much destruction that it's destroying entire fleets. T-Money, I got you, fam. I'm adding you right now to the Discord. Thank you so much for joining. Make sure you guys welcome T-Money to the Discord with a ready up. Let's freaking go. Let's go. Logan says, dimensional rendering. Sidious used his cane to assist. That's crazy. That's insane. Faithful Media says, I thought to ask while I have the idea, what got you into Star Wars? That's a great question. I actually was probably going to ask Connor to talk about the beginnings of like everyone's origin story with our podcast, which is lit, by the way. You all gotta subscribe to Jedi Connor's channel so you guys can check out the good stuff that we got going on there. I'm the big negative Nancy and everybody else is positive, so it's really cool that they negate my energy and we cancel each other out. It's pretty good. I think it's a pretty good mix. Definitely check it out. But that's a very good question because for me, Star Wars was around, and as you guys how I've talked about slowly, I've trickled a little bit of my lore into everything. I wasn't really allowed to do stuff. My life was quite restrictive. I was only allowed to play sports, and that was it. But for some reason, Star Wars was always relevant in my life, and I remember seeing Darth Maul, and Vader, of course, the big bad guys. Were always really significant because they're the coolest. And I remember being in the Phantom Menace and seeing Darth Maul, and then Duel of Fates comes on, and I was just like, holy poop, that was insane. That was crazy. But that was very early in my life. I think I was about 9 years old when that happened, right? Yeah, 9 or 10. I was around that age. But Star Wars for me, you had the cartoons and everything, and then Revenge of the Sith came out when I was in high school. And so that was 2005. I was 15 years old. And I fell in love with Anakin Skywalker and Revenge of the Sith. That was just a really interesting time. I was an edgy teen. I was not someone that really spoke a lot in high school, even though I played sports and I was very good. I don't know. So I understood Anakin Skywalker's perception of the console kind of looking outward, on him, seeing him as an outcast. But I really got obsessed with the lore, I would say around 19 and 20, around the age of YouTube, I would say. And everyone saw YouTube, everyone's watched videos. For me, it was just random stuff, searching stuff on the internet and finding things out until I got my first book, which I think is a lot of people's first book, is Darth Bane, Path of Destruction. I don't know, man. Then it was just, that's it. Played a lot of video games. Star Wars The Old Republic had come out at the time. I played Knights of the Old Republic, which I had, and I still have, by the way, the physical cases because it came with the Xbox that I bought. I don't know, man. It was just so much of the Star Wars expanded universe all at once, and it was like I was tasting ice cream for the first time, and I couldn't get enough of the flavors. And that was it. I became obsessed. Then content creation had been going on, and I was genuinely talking with people about Star Wars. Everyone was talking about, yeah, that's really cool. What this happens in the movie, and then I was just dropping knowledge on them. Yeah, well, this happens because I read this book and this, and they were like, oh my god, wow, that's actually really cool. Why didn't they put that in the movies? And I was like, I don't know. Actually, that's a great question. And so everyone was always just asking me about Star Wars stuff, even though I'm not an expert. I just read or research and find stuff out. And then I don't know, man. It was a love. I genuinely love this stuff, I have half a KOTOR disc. That is crazy. I need to see that. You need to drop that in the Discord. Yo, Og, thank you so much for joining the Discord. I really appreciate that, fam. Reeps, so good to see you. Everybody welcome Reeps with a ready up. Tomorrow I'm game. I'm at Shody's apartment right now. Ooh. I see you, fam. I appreciate it. I got Elzar Man in this. Let's go. Logan. I thought to ask. Yeah, I already read that. Skywalker Academy says, always need a negative with a positive. Yes, of course. Absolutely. Although it's not similar to the dark side of the Force and the light side, because that is not correct, guys. Reap says, all right, here's your big question for me today. What's your favorite Republic and Imperial ship design? Oh, my gosh. So, I am not a fan of Republic ships. I would say the X-Wing, to me, is probably the coolest Republic ship. Well, New Republic, I guess, or Rebellion. The Jedi fighters, starfighters, are really cool. I like the Vectors from the High Republic, but my favorite, of course, are the prequels. I think those are, like, Anakin's and Kenobi's, those are pretty freaking sick. Like, I genuinely love those, and those are the coolest designs. It's crazy. It's like a TIE fighter and a Death Star. It's like a Death Star. Excuse me. It's like a TIE fighter took inspiration from a Death Star, and that's why it has that cylindrical. It's so cool. Like, I think it's really sick. I also love the Ebon Hawk. You know, even though it's not really a Republic ship, but when it comes to, oh man, when it comes to Imperial design, oh my gosh, dude, I love the Executor. That's why I have it in the back. I love the Executor. Do you guys want to see this Executor that I have? Press 1 in the chat if you want to see the Executor. You guys want to see the you guys want to see the Executor? You guys want to see the Executor? I'm going to show you this shit, okay? Yes. Yes. Yes, full speed, Commander. I don't want to hear any excuses about asteroids. Do not interest me. This thing is so cool, dude. Like, it's the coolest thing, dude. This thing is freaking massive. That's what she said. I love this thing. I love it, dude. It's so cool, man. It's so cool. Yeah, dude, I love it, man. I think it's so cool, dude. Like, I love Imperial aesthetics. Even though you guys know me, I'm really outspoken about the sequel trilogy. I think that the daggers, the TIE daggers, are so cool. I also like the Juggernaut, and I also like the Supremacy. I think they're really, really sick. But I would say a starship. Oh, this Kylo Ren silencer is pretty damn cool. Poe's Black One is pretty freaking cool. And then, of course, the Republic gunship. Love the Republic gunship. It's just so sick. And then, I don't know. I guess I like a lot. I don't know. I guess I lied. I guess I like a lot. And then, of course, the Interceptor, man. The Interceptor is a bad ship. Woo! It is a bad ship, chat. Oh, my God. Ooh, I mean, just, you guys remember the Star Wars Squadrons trailer? Ooh, my God, that is a bad ship. Yeah, the Supremacy is peak. Yeah, Supremacy is, I cannot lie, guys. You know, there's a lot of issues that I have, but I'm telling you, man, aesthetically, woo! Supremacy is sick. Yeah. It's the Executor. It's the Executor. Yeah, it was the Executor, Anthony. Yeah. Yeah. It's so damn cool, man. Reap says, I think my favorite Republic starfighter is the Acclamator or the V-Wing. Oh my God. Yeah, the V-Wings are pretty cool. That was something that I learned maybe like 6 years ago, I would say. I learned about them. I was like, I did not know that how cool they were. I think they're really nice. Like, genuinely, I think they were a really cool ship that is kind of like kept a little secret from like casual Star Wars fans. Like, I think the V-Wing probably should have been incorporated much earlier into live action, you know? Yeah, it's pretty cool. I love the N1. Oh, yes. The N1, yeah, I mean, I don't know, man. I don't know. Star Wars does it right. Honestly, now that I think about it, there isn't a lot of bad ships. But I'll tell you right now, Connor, we were going to talk about this, like, potential, like, one day for, like, ships of our favorites in all Star Wars with Johnny. And I gotta say, guys, I really love the Razor Crest. Guys, I really love the Razor Crest. the Razor Crest might be my favorite Star Wars ship, guys. Like, it's up there. Like, if you were going to tell me if I could choose between an Executor or an Interceptor or the Razor Crest, guys, I might choose the Razor Crest, guys. Like, I love the Razor Crest. That's how, I don't know, man. The chrome, it's just got this, like, American muscle look to it. I don't know, bro. It just, you know, I don't know, bro. I love that ship. I was so broken heart when they blew up that shit. Have you guys seen my reaction to that episode? That was a crazy episode in The Mandalorian. I had so much emotions. I remember I was a meme for like a week where I saw Boba Fett and I was like, and then the starship blew up, Razor Crest blew up, and I was literally depressed as hell. I gotta find that meme, or maybe I remake it, because that shit was so funny, dude. I was literally a meme for like a week when that episode came out. It was hilarious. All right, let's go. Og says the Interceptor is my personal best. That's a great ship. There were only 13, Super Star Destroyers in the Imperial Fleet. I know, dude. It's so freaking sick. Kylo Ren Silencer is so awesome. I agree, 100%, fam. Let's freaking go. God, I'm so glad you guys are here. Thank you so much. But everyone that joined the stream late, it is raining here. It's actually thunderstorming, and my power is cut out like 3 times. So if I dip again, please check TikTok or Discord, and I'll try to continue the stream there. Skywalker says, I do have a spot for a T6 shuttle design. Yes, it's awesome, man. Your thoughts on the V19 turret? Ooh, what is this? I have to. I'm still learning my ships. I'm not gonna lie, guys. I'm so bad at like understanding the ship stuff. Only because I've gotten into Lego have I gotten better at understanding the ships. Look, man. You know, sometimes when you gotta study, sometimes Legos are like really great. By the way, Reaps, thank you so much for joining the Discord. I really appreciate you. That is awesome. Star Wars T19. I probably know what it is. I just oh my gosh, yes. So I think what's really interesting is this is Ahsoka's ship that she had absolutely destroyed. I think it's a part of the new Lego ship too. I was thinking about getting. It comes with the Saw Avengers. I'm not a big fan of the B-Wing, and this gives me a very B-Wing vibe, but I also like the Starhopper, you know? And I think the Starhopper and this are pretty nice. I think they're really, really, really nice. Yeah, I think it's really, really interesting, but the B-Wings, I don't know. Like, I don't hate the B-Wings, but it's just, it's by far the most interesting ship in Star Wars, the way that it is designed and it looks. Like, aesthetically, it's like, Yeah, I think there's, like, no ship that comes close to the B-Wing in terms of, like, uniqueness. It's just so interesting looking. That's how I would describe it. How do you guys like the B-Wing? I feel like there's a lot of, like, die-hard B-Wing fans. Have you ever looked into the wacky experimentals like the TIE Bizarro or the TIE Boost? What? No way. So I know just a little bit about, you know, the Thrawn stuff, and a couple of the other games had a bunch of really interesting ships. Oh my god, what the hell? Did someone actually make this? This is a real ship? Where's this from? I feel like a fake fan now. Oh, this is from X-Wing Alliance. This is from X-Wing. Yeah, this ship is wild, guys. I'm not even gonna lie to you guys. This ship, I don't think this ship is it, guys. I don't know if all my Star Wars lore can handle how this works. Mind you, I was never able to play X-Wing. Just because I didn't have consoles back then. I wasn't allowed to play video games. But I've wanted to get an emulator in and get a lot of these games come in and you really try it out. But this is very interesting. I don't know who designed this. But man, that is interesting. I think also what is the other ones? Oh my god. There was another one that I thought was like really wacky when I was looking at all of the whatchamacallits, all of the other source books that I had. Yo, you know what's another one that I really like though is the one from Andor. Is oh my god, what the hell was that one again? Oh my god, guys, what is it? My brain is like going off. Oh man. Anyway, I want that ship. I actually hope that there's a Lego for that ship. They need to be fired. Oh, I'm pretty sure Tarkin or Vader got to him for sure. Razor Crest based on Jaster Muriel. Yes. Razor Crest is based off Jaster Muriel's freaking jumbo legacy ship. That ship is massive. It is so funny looking, dude. It looks like just like a bomber from like World War II. It is a huge ship, but it is really cool. I really like that, and I really appreciate the inspiration that they took from it. David Torres says, I don't know the ship stuff either. I'm really not focused on them. The Ghost is my favorite ship. Then Darth Maul's ship is my second. Oh, I also have the Ghost. The TIE Avenger. Yes. TIE Avenger. Here you go, David Torres. We got the Ghost here. So it's a nice. So this is from the X-Wing tabletop games. So cool, man. I love that game. Didn't understand it. Didn't have anyone to play with, so I just got some of the models. I also have the Chimera because I love Thrawn. Really cool stuff, man. Like genuinely, like sick stuff. Yeah, dude. I know, dude. I got it. I also have the Chimera back there, so I really enjoy it. So Skywalker Academy says, here's a question. Who would you want to be your Jedi or Sith Master? Wow. You know, what's really interesting is, all right, I'll answer my favorite part of this question. Back to work. Peace out, everyone. Bye, Laser. Have a good day, fam. Thank you so much for coming. It's raining hard again, guys, and if I dip, I'm so sorry. But for the Jedi, I don't know who I want for Jedi. I guess it might be. All right, if I'm gonna pick every single every single Jedi and Sith is on the table, okay? So if every single Jedi and Sith is on the table, from like Old Republic, New Republic, Side Republic, High Republic, whatever, you know, I am probably picking. Can I just do three? Can I do three? Can I please do three? I'm probably picking Satele Shan, Eula Keldroma, and my future Jedi, I guess you could say, is probably Qui-Gon Jinn. That's probably going to be the characters that I choose. That if any era that I come from, it's probably going to be Satele Shan, Eula Keldroma, and I also would love Qui-Gon Jinn. I think a dark horse, in my opinion, would probably be Luke, just because he is the Skywalker legacy. I would really like to see that. That would be really cool. Be a part of his order and everything that goes down. Can Qui-Gon be my dad instead? I feel you, dude. Like, I understand. I hear what you're saying. Yeah, I don't know, man. Ulick is great. I think Ulick would have made an amazing teacher had he survived. I think Ulick is the perfect master. I think Qui-Gon is a perfect master. I think Satele Shan is another fantastic master. I like characters that really challenge the Jedi Order and also come back from like some stained past that they have. Satele never really could detach herself from Revan's legacy, and that was a lot of baggage that she had to live through. I love that. I would have loved for someone to help me who's basically not necessarily, she's not really self-made. She's kind of a nepo baby, right? But at the end of the day, she is skillful as hell and literally one of the greatest grandmasters of all time, and had to deal with that baggage and filling the shoes, and never fell to the dark side, which is something that her ancestors did not. So, yeah, I think that's a really awesome character. And then Qui-Gon Jinn, enough said. Okay, I want to see what everybody's saying in the chat too. Yeah, Grandmaster Luke, I think that's a great choice, man. I think that is a great choice. Odan that is a phenomenal choice, Logan. That is a great choice. So why Odan I think, for me, the reason why I didn't choose Odan is because I thought he was a little too early. Especially with dealing with Exar Kun. I think it's a little too early of the era that I feel like maybe perhaps he wasn't able to live to see everything else that happened after Exar Kun. I almost chose Nomi Sunrider. I think that would have been a great character too. Give me master, teach me lore. I mean, honestly, dude, that is a great answer. Because at the end of one of my favorite pictures is Odan just studying on Ossus with all the lore. Odan secretly is all of us. He's just learning and learning and learning, It's to me, in my opinion, Odan is the representation of a hardcore Star Wars fan. You have a lot of movie fans, you have people that love The Empire Strikes Back, Revenge of the Sith, but Odan is the person that dips into everything else because he just loves it so much. And he's the one that's gonna find out all the problems and how to deal with it because he's the one that finds out about the Sith, the schisms, all of these things. I think that is so cool about Odan. There's a piece of Odan in all of us, really, genuinely. Yeah, Odan would be really cool. Luke? Oh, Voodoo Voss. Interesting. That is another great character. And Darth Malgus. Ooh, Fateful. Okay, so... Oh, hello there. Thank you so much for being here. Everybody, welcome. Hello there with a ready up. Hello there says, how's it going, fam? Last couple of months have been busy. Sorry for missing some. Hey, no problem, man. I know. I know how crazy it is out there. I know the grind, man. Don't worry. You don't have to apologize, but I'm so glad to have you guys here, man, because this community is freaking awesome. Skywalker Academy says, for me, it would probably be either Avar Chris. That's not bad. Basilisk Shan, good. Qui-Gon Jinn, awesome. And Darth Plagueis or Count Dooku for the Sith. Okay, those are pretty stellar, dude. I'm not gonna lie. Pretty good picks. Logan says Lumaya can be my master any day. Oh my gosh, that right into the line there. Okay. Where is Grand Admiral Gunnar? Where's Grand Admiral Gunnar Bugsy in the chat? Okay, so all right. So basically, what I would do for a Sith, I think, is really interesting. If I'm going for power, I'm probably choosing Malgus. I think Malgus is a phenomenal character that has the power of Vader and the philosophy of Revan. Not on the level of Revan, but he's in that realm, if that makes any sense. If Revan is the highest in terms of knowledge for whatever realm that Revan is in, I would say Malgus is towards the end of that, at the bottom, which isn't a bad thing. This is, in my opinion, one of the highest tiers in Star Wars, and I think Malgus is right there. I would love to choose Revan. I would love to choose Darth Revan. I think Revan challenged the Sith in a very interesting way, to the way that he ultimately was one of the main reasons why Darth Sidious was the product of the Rule of Two. Without Revan, you can argue the Rule of Two never happens, and the Sith probably become extinct somewhere around the time that Darth Bane appears. I think very easily they could have been deleted if not for the teachings of Revan. I think knowledge is power. I think knowledge is the most important thing when it comes to learning in the Force, even in the dark side. But at the end of the day, the problem with Sith is they betray each other, which Revan also knew and understood, and prophesized and helped Bane understand that, hey, man, this is the way it is, and you either got to get got or step up. So the other thing is, I don't want my master to betray me yet. So I might choose Plagueis. I know how crazy Plagueis is, but I think there's a really good debate that you could think that maybe Plagueis didn't actually want to betray Sidious. And I genuinely, when you read the Darth Plagueis book, I don't think he wants to betray Sidious. I think that he genuinely wants to be friends with Sidious and hopes that Sidious wants to be his friend as well. Because when you read that book, it seems like that's what Plagueis is building up to. This is it. There is no more need for the rule of two. I have created Darth Sidious, and now we are just going to take over the galaxy. I personally believe that Plagueis might be the person that you will be the safest with, because as long as you become powerful and are promising, Plagueis will not betray you. I genuinely believe that in my heart of hearts, because it might just be how silly I am as a Star Wars fan, but I think he might be the safest Sith to not betray you. Am I wrong in believing that after reading that book? Genuinely, I believe Sidious will not betray. I believe Plagueis will not betray you if you are his apprentice and you are following into the footsteps and learning his power and becoming the apprentice that he wants you. I genuinely believe that he would want to rule with you. I don't know. I would love to hear your guys' opinion on it. That's who I would probably pick. It'd probably be Revan, Malgus, or Plagueis. That's who I would probably pick. I don't think I'm going with anybody else. I think everybody else is cuckoo crazy, bro. Og says, when we hop on Battlefront, dude, that would be awesome. I have I'm on there. Definitely check. I don't know. I mean, they need crossplay though, man. Jeez, dude. It's crazy. Hello there says he is definitely trustworthy. He's the most trustworthy Sith, and I know that's like not saying a lot, but in my opinion, he is the most trustworthy Sith. Plagueis literally says he was working to make both of them immortal. So yes, definitely. And I genuinely believe him. From that story's perspective, I genuinely believe that he's that guy. Like he was trying to help everybody out, man. That's what it was. Yeah, Plagueis definitely wouldn't betray you as long as you are promising. Yes, exactly. And I think that's it. Like, you have to impress Plagueis to the point that he's like, all right, this guy is very strong. Now, I don't know if I could eat a heart with this guy, because that's what happens in the book. That stuff is crazy, man. Absolutely insane. Yeah, I feel like at the end of the day, like, Plagueis is going to be so insane with a lot of the things that he says and does, and you're just going to have to deal with it. But at the end of the day, you guys are trying to take over the galaxy together, and you might succeed, honestly. I mean, Sidious did, so we'll see. That's how I feel, honestly. That's how I feel. All right, so we got some stuff to go over today. I would love to talk to you guys about certain things that I found on the interwebs. So let me get some of these bad takes going. So the first thing that I saw, guys, was really interesting, and this is this. So today we have Star Wars, and it is apparently, there's a rumor that Matt Smith is going to be the villain in the Starfighter movie with Ryan Gosling. So this thing is like catching fire really quickly. A lot of people are saying that this is happening. A lot of people are coming out and saying this. What's really interesting now, we have to remember, when The Rise of Skywalker was in production, there were a lot of rumors that Matt Smith was casted as one of the villains in Rise of Skywalker. They didn't know who he was, but in my opinion, Matt Smith looks so freaking similar to Dark Empire Darth Sidious. I'm telling you right now. Look, I'm gonna look this up. Darth Sidious Dark Empire. Dude, when I saw this, when I read this, I was like, man, I think Matt Smith would play an incredible Darth Sidious. I'm telling you right now, dude. You fix that chin and make that forehead a little bit bigger. That's Matt Smith all day, right? Now, this isn't going to happen, of course, in the Starfighter movie. I don't know if this is true or not, but I will say that if this is true, Matt Smith is a fantastic talent. I'm a big Doctor Who fan. I love Matt Smith's Doctor. Game of Thrones, of course, or what's it called, House of Dragon is... I literally watched the show just for Matt Smith because I like Matt Smith that much. He's a fantastic actor. And if they give him any amount of dialogue that will be decent, he might help carry the movie along with Ryan Gosling. I think if this is true and he is the villain... and potentially Force sensitive, dude, they might be cooking. They might. I said might. They might be cooking. That's how I feel. I'm telling you, man. When does the Starfighter take place? It takes place like 6 years after the Rise of Skywalker, which I think is a very, very, very good time to do. It's like start writing this stuff. I don't know why they don't do similar to Marvel. And I'm not talking about like 38 movies. I'm talking about like, hey, why don't you save the episodic movies for like really big stories that are happening? I think that, yeah, sure, you have Mandoverse, you have Heir to the Empire, maybe Rey's new Jedi Order, Finn's journey that happens if they ever want to do that. And then, okay, here comes the big bad that's released and introduced in the Starfighter movie. And then you have Episode 10, New Jedi Order, right? And then there you go. You introduced everybody. Everybody's there from the stuff. This is the New Jedi Order. And then you have the brand new big bad that they're trying to fight and eventually will be the new enemy. I don't see the problem with that as long as the stories are good. I think that when people watch the movies and they have good stories and the quality is there, they're not going to complain. They're only going to complain when they're getting so much of it and it's subpar. That's how I feel like. That's what I feel. So no, this is where I really miss Making Star Wars and Bespin Bulletin. They both know Star Wars spoilers. Oh, really? Wow. So this is where I really miss Making Star. Oh, okay. So it's what is the spoiler? Hello there says, I think Ryan Gosling was good in Blade Runner 2049. Hopefully he's cool. No, he's a fantastic actor. I actually thought when the Barbie movie came out, I thought he should have been voted like sexiest man in the industry or whatever they do. They have like the sexiest man whatever votes. I thought Ryan Gosling should have got that stuff. He had the Ken in the Barbie movie. Like he was a meme at that time. He still is. The Blade Runner meme was going crazy around that time. I don't know, man. I think he's like literally one of the most slept on actors in the industry. Like he is a very good talent. I think that's good that they're bringing him in. I'm happy that they're bringing Matt Smith in. I'm not hyped that Star Wars is now bringing these, I would say, A-listers in. I would like the Andor approach, but if there's going to be two characters that you bring in for Star Wars, it's going to be those two. I really, 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 really like that. I think that's really, really good. I'm really excited. I like Matt Smith, but we will see that happens, man. We will see what happens or not, because I hope he's in there. I hope Matt Smith is in there. That would be freaking awesome for me because I'm a fan. All right. So the next one, guys, is kind of sad. All right, you ready for this one? I am not hyped about this news. So, Boba Fett. All right, Tamora Morrison says there are no plans for him to reprise his role as Boba Fett. No, all of you need to send a fax or a letter or email to those powers that be at Lucasfilm. I'm sure they'd love to hear from everyone. Please give Daniel Logan and Tamora Morrison another chance and put them somewhere. That one kind of stings. I'm not the biggest Book of Boba Fett fan, but I love that theme. And we still got some of the best Luke Skywalker episodes in that show. A lot of people say they did him dirty. And I would say that I don't think that was their intention to literally not put him in shows. I do feel like he will be in Mando and Grogu. I will be a little shocked if he's not in Mando and Grogu at all. It could be just a Mandalorian and Grogu story. We could talk about that too. I have ideas for that movie as well, but not bringing back Tamora Morrison, I think, is interesting. Like, you're telling me that there's no animation shows whatsoever that are going to feature Boba Fett? You know, that seems a little weird, especially with like Tales of the Underworld that just happened. I'm actually kind of shocked that there isn't any animation that has Boba Fett whatsoever outside of Star Wars Visions Season 1, I think it was. You know, that they had him a little bit. Yeah, I don't know, man. That seems, man, I'm telling you right now, if I feel like animation is the way to go for Boba. There are so many stories you could tell with animation. Like, not just like in the Mandoverse, but also like in his prime, where he's like up and coming and literally getting his reputation out there. I don't know how you do not greenlight that show. That is insane to me, especially when like so many fans feel like Boba Fett needs something. Why not have him in his prime? And it's animation. You can do so much. He can literally voice. That's all he has to do. And then that's going to get everybody momentum and everything else. And then, boom, Book of Boba Fett Season 2. I don't know. Sounds like a plan. Why hasn't that happened yet? Maybe it's happening behind the scenes. Maybe it's already in production and you know, he knows, but he doesn't know, you know. I don't know. We'll see. Yo, Reza, so good to see everybody. Welcome, Reza, with a ready up inside the chat. Can you blame him with how the show was received? No. I mean, I think there's a lot of stuff with that show. I remember people calling him Boba Fett. I remember people... it's crazy, too, because I remember those YouTube comments in my reactions. I think if I go back into my reactions, I will literally see someone calling him Boba Fett in Book of Boba Fett. I remember that, too. That's crazy. I might have muted that person. I'm not sure. I don't know. I'll have to go and check again. But I think it's kind of crazy that he's one of the most popular Star Wars characters ever, and you are not doing anything with him. Not even an animation. That is crazy. Yeah, I don't know. That's insane. Hello there says, Boba has always been iconic, man. Hopefully he comes back in a good project. I believe so. Logan says, writers deserve the flack, not the actors. I think that... Okay, so here's my take. Okay, and in the very little stuff that I've been introduced to and then I've seen in the industry, okay? So, mind you, I'm just a nerd that knows nothing and just likes Star Wars. Here's my opinion. So, I don't think that writers necessarily deserve the flack. I think the biggest problem, and this is probably what people don't realize, is that writers are giving ideas all the time. But writing needs to be approved. That's the thing. Writing needs to be approved. Like, hey, you have this really great idea, but we can't use this idea anymore. One thing that I thought was really interesting was when writer of Andor, director of Andor, writer of Andor, Tony Gilroy was talking about how Lucasfilm didn't give them any notes and allowed them to freely do what they wanted in Season 2. That, to me, is a big, scary red flag, especially for someone like me that did not like The Last Jedi. Someone is clearly controlling, like, the ideas that are happening. And whether it's like animation or live action, or I can't even imagine the amount of notes that people are going through in live action, right? So where was the note-taking in The Last Jedi, or where was the note-taking in The Rise of Skywalker, but where was the note-taking in the Book of Boba Fett? Where was the note-taking for these animated shows? We do not know how many shows that have been working in production that have not been greenlit, right? And what I think, and I'm going to say this, guys, I'm going to say this, all right? And you know me, I'm not trying to piss anybody off or offend anybody, but there's a lot of people on YouTube that are talking out of their ass, and they have no idea what they're talking about. You hear all the time about, like, Kathleen Kennedy getting fired, Jon Favreau getting fired, Dave Filoni getting fired. Those people have no idea what they're talking about. They have no idea what's happening in behind those walls. They wish they did, but they don't. you know. And I think it's very obvious when someone like Tony Gilroy comes out and he's telling you so much about the production that no one's ever talked about ever. You know, we've heard about in whispers about these Lucasfilm notes, but I guarantee you there's probably projects that are happening that probably have some incredible ideas, but maybe they're just too scared to approve it. Maybe there's some really, really bad stuff that they're saving us from. You know, but then you get a show like The Acolyte, which I have a lot of questions about, and, you know, where were these questions here? But I think the other thing is, too, is like Logan brings up writers. Writers need to have this. Okay, but like, to me, on paper, there are a lot of great ideas that The Acolyte brought. There are a lot of great ideas that the Book of Boba Fett brought. There's a lot of great ideas that Kenobi brought. But then the writers are not the ones directing. The writers are not the ones making the production set. The writers are not the ones choosing the camera that happens or the way it's edited. You know, this is a team effort. You know, yes, the writers make things and allow for the entire script to be approved, and then from that script, mind the way, this is just a pitch. Then it turns into production, and then they want you to maybe make a few scenes or show us what it's gonna look like, so maybe potentially it can get greenlit, and then production actually officially starts. That's why you hear, in my opinion, so many times where they say, new movie coming out in 2028 for Star Wars. Just kidding. It's been shelved. You want to know why? Because it was never in legitimate production. It was never greenlit. Somebody got in that notes and saw that there was a movie being made, and then they were like, oh my God, I got to tweet this out. And it was probably just some random director giving them a pitch. And it was probably never going anywhere. You know? And I think that's a big problem with the industry. I think that's a big problem with, like, YouTube people and Twitter people that are saying these things. There are so many people that are lying about whatever's happening behind the scenes, man. And I think they are creating so much damage to the franchise. And I think someone like Tamara Morrison suffers because if there is a Boba Fett project out there that isn't getting greenlit, people are going to be really mad. People are going to be really upset if they find out. People are going to be really upset about Timothy Zahn not writing Thrawn, you know, or maybe The Rise of Skywalker was actually going to be with Matt Smith and the Emperor was going to steal Luke Skywalker's consciousness or something and then make himself youthful and eternal, you know? I don't know. I'm just talking on my ass here. But I'm just saying that at the end of the day, writers are a very small percentage in the entire production, and we have no idea what storyboard Lucasfilm is saying no to or yes to, and no one's ever going to know that unless they work there. That's how I honestly feel. SJ, thank you so much for coming into the stream. Everybody welcome SJ with a ready up. Logan says, shows the difference between canon and Legends as Legends was able to be bold and creative. So the reason why Legends is able to be bold and creative is because there is no made-for-TV Star Wars. There is so much more free reign in Legends that they are literally allowed to do just about anything they want. There is insane stuff in Star Wars Legends, but the problem is, in my opinion, is that it was not as scrutinized as it is today. As soon as Disney acquired the license, that's it. Everything is terrible. Everything is bad. And yes, there are some things that, and I question whether or not they should have been greenlit. I question whether or not they should have been given $200 million to make this, or, you know, $100 million to make this, you know, or why is this dialogue in the script, or why did this idea pass the first pitch, you know? But at the end of the day, like, I just feel like Legends is glazed because it was first. And when I look at video games like, oh my gosh, The Force Unleashed 2 that has the DLC where Starkiller is going around killing Han Solo and killing Chewbacca, that's pretty crazy. What if Disney did that? You know? I guarantee you there would be a lot of interesting discussions about that. You know, let's say Dark Empire comes out in 2025 for the first time, and then Sidious is back, right? And then Luke Skywalker turns to the dark side. And then Luke Skywalker tries to kill Han Solo, which is in the comic, by the way. And then Luke Skywalker also allows Leia to be shocked nearly to death by Darth Sidious, because Luke is understanding that he needs to follow in his father's footsteps, because his father's destiny is his destiny. Ain't nobody talking shit about that, because it's Legends, you know? And I'm not like getting at Legends. I'm just saying, like, when you start to scrutinize everything the way you scrutinize the new stuff, I think Star Wars really starts to lose its flair, especially if the original trilogy came out today. You know, don't get me started on how people probably were shipping Luke and Leia only for them to find out that it was probably incest before Return of the Jedi. You know, when you start looking at Star Wars, there are cracks on the wall, no matter what era you look at, you know, and that's what keeps me humble, no matter what. All right? That's how I genuinely feel. You know, everybody's got their own view on these things, you know, but I think at the end of the day, because I grew up in the prequel trilogy and I saw everybody hating it, I try not to do the same thing that they did to Jake Lloyd and Hayden, you know, and everything else. Thank you so much. My boy just joined the stream. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. SJ, for coming in the Discord. So good to see you, fam. Yeah, but that's how I feel, guys. You guys are inclined to your own opinions, and again, you don't have to agree with me or anything, man. I just that's just how I feel, and what I've heard from the very few people that I know that have worked in the industry. I can honestly say that there are some really great people out there that are bringing some great ideas, and there's probably some people out there that probably deserve more criticism than Kathleen Kennedy has gotten in her entire career. You know, that's basically how I feel. Skywalker Academy says, yep, people would hate it. I think they would definitely have some things to say about it. Hello there says, I'm also tired of people saying the prequels and OGs need to be remade. Dude, that is so funny. That was a thing in high school for me in 2005. When Revenge of the Sith was over, there was this huge rumor that George Lucas was going to remake the original trilogy. And they were literally telling him to sell Star Wars. You know, like, it was crazy. Which I also think is funny, because not a lot of people were alive back then. You know, new generation fans, you know, if they were like 5-6 years old, right? But when I was going around in high school, people hated George Lucas for what he did to the prequels. Even when Revenge of the Sith came out, it was not peak until like 5-6 years later, all of a sudden, in YouTube comments, that we figured this out. It was crazy, dude. Yeah. Starkiller killed Force Ghost Obi-Wan. Yeah, like, it's just... God, I forgot about that. Oh my, I'm gonna have to make a video about that. I'm gonna have to make a video about that. It's crazy, dude. That is some Deadpool stuff. Yeah, that's insane. It's like the old Deadpool test footage. You know, yes. See, that's the thing though too. Is like, I don't think people understand like how many drafts these stories go through. You think you think Acolyte was just like the first draft? That's it? Perfect? No. Acolyte probably went through a lot of rewrites. And designs and scripts and ideas and dialogue, and only for it to be what it was, which, you know, is what it is. But every project goes through that, you know. I don't think we're ever going to understand how many script changes Rise of Skywalker went through, you know, or whatever, Kenobi. You know, it's just one of those things that we're never going to know until someone gets fired, or, you know, someone leaks an email or something. And even then, I don't think that is going to be a good day. You know, I hope that day doesn't come. Hello there says, my dad says that the prequels needed to be remade, but I disagree, man. Grew up with the prequels and the Clone Wars. In my opinion, most OG generational fans of Star Wars say that as well. That's how it's always been. I'll never forget when Attack of the Clones came out, and they hated Hayden Christensen. They hated Hayden Christensen so much. They were telling that this kid was such the worst freaking actor. First, it was Jake Lloyd, you know. Didn't know about Ahmed Best's story was not known at the time about what was happening. but Jake Lloyd's was. And then Hayden Christensen's was because Hayden was on news outlets. And everybody was talking ish about him because he also had other movies coming out. You know, and then Jumper came out, and then people liked Jumper, you know. But still, it was like, why would you do this to Anakin Skywalker? This is the worst. And then, of course, people did not like CGI. They really did not like CGI. They did not like CGI back then. And then Yoda's scene happens with his lightsaber. I thought this was insane when I saw Yoda in theaters when it first came out in Attack of the Clones. I think I was like 13 years old. And I was like, what the flip? This guy's jumping around. What the? And I remember a lot of the adults were like they did not like that scene. You know, I think what was also funny is that Lego Star Wars comes out and Yoda is jumping and doing all these things. And we were like, oh my God, like he's really doing this. He's insane. He was so hard to control in that game too, I remember. And then, of course, you see Revenge of the Sith, and then Yoda is just popping off and going crazy. It was much better in Revenge of the Sith, in my opinion, than it was in Attack of the Clones. But I think a lot of people, just like now, they have their version of Star Wars, and their headcanon of Star Wars is sacred. And when it doesn't meet that expectation, that's where the criticism comes in, and the criticism turns into passion and potentially hatred, you know. So I understand the levels of disappointment. I think people are, they believe whatever they want, especially when it fits their agenda, you know. Fateful says, wouldn't it be the first time Star Wars character killed a Force spirit, Exar Kun? Dude, oh my God. Yes, I'm so glad you brought that up. I freaking love that, man. But see, to me, but although, Fateful Media, I also think that's different because Frida Nad is a Sith spirit. He is not immortal like a Force ghost. I think they're completely different because Sith spirits are attached to something that's physical. It's not eternal life like Force ghosts are, right? But the way Exar Kun does it is so personal, and oh my God, which is crazy because, you know, first off, there's Naga Sadow, you know, who has already been confirmed by the creator of Darth Nihilus to be stronger than Darth Nihilus. And so Naga Sadow is weaker than Frida Nad. And you're seeing Frida Nad just literally influence and possess people from beyond the grave. And it is so damn cool. And then he teaches Exar Kun, thinking that Exar Kun is going to be the next awesome thing. And then Exar Kun is like, call an ambulance, but not for me. And then, God, I love those comics, man. They are so good. It's such great story. And before the prequels were even a thing. It's so good. No, Waru, no watch. Logan, what is this? No Messi, no watch? That's so funny, Logan. That's hilarious. Oh, my God. Skywalker Academy says, I still say the duel in Attack of the Clones is the worst duel in the series. The worst duel in the series is Obi-Wan Kenobi versus Darth Vader. I know I'm gonna get a lot of flack for that, but I genuinely believe that the first duel in Star Wars is just not on the level of anything else. It was the first of its kind, guys. You know, like they were swinging stuff was breaking. I mean, even when they in the original, like they edited it and like the stuff is like dimming out and they can't even. Yeah, I mean that film was way beyond its budget, you know, and we all know the stories about how Star Wars almost never was. That one, in my opinion, is the hardest one to watch, and I don't think it ages well. Then it's the Attack of the Clones, Yoda versus Obi-Wan. Or sorry, Yoda versus Count Dooku. The sequel trilogy's duels aren't bad. They're just not as great as everything else, I guess. Although I do like the Rise of Skywalker duel with Kylo Ren and Rey. I think that duel is... I think that duel stock, if I was going to invest in that duel, it's going to go up higher as time goes on, for sure. The Autobic version of the duel was better. I can only imagine. I can only imagine. There was one last thing that I wanted to check. I know we have my time's almost done here, and I don't want to get the power cut off again. But let me see one more bad take that we have here. Let's see. Oh yeah, there was a couple stuff that we could do. All right, let me see. Oh, there's a few of them, guys. I wanted to really see. I got a lot. Actually, there's a lot that I missed. All right, we'll do this one. This one looks really fun. You guys want to check this one out? All right, so this is, I thought, was really interesting. And you guys can give me any questions before I head out here. So, if Tarkin was still alive and somehow still Grand Moff, even after his failure after the Empire's defeat in Endor, would he be able to unite the Empire and make it last longer? No. I do not think so. I think Tarkin is a very evil dude. I think Tarkin is one of the most capable people in the Empire. But I think Tarkin is also extremely threatening. Or excuse me, people are very threatened by Tarkin. With Thrawn is that he's so tactical that he really doesn't need someone like Moff Tarkin, right? My thing is that Tarkin he doesn't have the resources that he does anymore. And I think that's where Tarkin was best. Tarkin was the benefactor of the Empire because it allowed Tarkin to be Tarkin, which, in my opinion, it probably has, outside of General Hux, the highest kill count in all of Star Wars. This guy was genociding people upon genociding people. I mean, you could argue maybe the Emperor is higher than him, but Tarkin is at least top 3 in terms of, like, kill count in all of Star Wars. I think Tarkin is very ruthless. I think Tarkin is not an enemy that you'd want to fight, but I think Tarkin's pride is so obviously his weakness because he's so arrogant. And that's what the first movie, A New Hope, shows, is that this dude truly believes that this Death Star is impenetrable, is unsinkable. And that's what happens. I think he would go down the same way that he would on the Death Star. He would think that the rebels are incapable of doing this. I don't think he would learn. And I think that he would fall from the same wound that ultimately killed him. I just think Thrawn is one of the only people, and Darth Sidious, to be capable of defeating the rebels and reestablishing order in the galaxy. I don't think Tarkin is that guy to do it, That's just my view on it. I'm not saying Tarkin is bad. I just don't think he is as good as Thrawn or Sidious. That's how I see it, Yeah, that's how what do you guys think? Loken says, well, you see, Tarkin was cloned by Ether Prime in an attempt to rally the Imperial Remnant behind his Shadow faction. Ooh. I think Tarkin is an integral part of the success of the Empire. But I do not, like, if I have the pill, if I have the get out of jail card, and the get out of jail card is like reviving someone in Star Wars, and I'm on the Imperial side, I'm either reviving the Emperor or Thrawn. I'm not reviving Tarkin, Like, those are the two I'm picking. Those are the two I'm picking. Maybe if I'm not allowed to pick Thrawn or Sidious, I'll pick Tarkin then. But if Thrawn and Sidious are available, I'm choosing them. That's who I'm choosing. I'm not choosing anybody else. I'm not choosing Ray Sloan or anybody else. I'm choosing Thrawn and Sidious. He could have left, but he didn't. Exactly. That's exactly it. He could have left. He could have survived. He could have fought another day. He could have been a huge asset for the Empire, but instead he decided to dig in the stupidest way ever, when everybody was telling him throughout the entire movie, dude, there's a weakness. Dude, there's a weakness. Hey, bro, there is a weakness. And then Rogue One makes his failures, in my opinion, even worse. Because instead of trying to fix the issue, he decides to sweep it under the rug as if it never existed. Stupid. That is by far the stupidest thing he's ever done. Yeah. Thrawn pick has lots of political sway. Oh, Tarkin pick has lots of... Yes. Yeah, I understand. Absolutely. I understand. But I'm still choosing Thrawn or Sidious. Luke killed 1.7 million by himself, yes. While Tarkin made orders. Yeah, dude. It's just... While Tarkin was sitting in his throne. It's just so silly. Skywalker Academy says if given the chance, Tarkin would betray you, grab more power. Look what happened to Krennic. Even though he hated Krennic from day one, you know. But, yes. Point still stands, you know. Point still stands. R2 took out 19.7 billion people. That is a that is the BIS number. Skywalker Academy says even Vader was like, don't underestimate the Force, and Tarkin basically rolls his eyes. Yeah, but that's also because Tarkin never really had faith in the Jedi, you know, and he probably saw the Force as obsolete as the Jedi. And I don't fault him for that because I don't think he's wrong. But in that moment, that guy just made the stupidest mistake of his life, you know. All right, guys, we have another awesome stream. Not to mention Chopper just obliterated. Yes, I know, these diabolical monsters. But guys, we had another awesome stream. Thank you so much for being patient. We still had a lot of people join. We had like 13, 14 people join even with the power outages, man. That was huge. We had like 3 people join the Discord today. Hello. So that's freaking awesome, guys. I really appreciate that. Please check the YouTube shorts that happen every single Monday morning, Wednesday morning, and Friday morning. Please, guys, YouTube keeps hiding this stuff from you guys. If you haven't already, go check it out. I'm so glad you guys are here. We are so close to 10,000 subscribers, man, and I just have a really good time with you guys. If you guys want to play any Battlefront or just talk in Discord throughout the week, as you guys know, I'm always active. I'm always around, so hit your boy up. And I'm so glad to see you guys, man. By the way, present for you. I got some stuff going on here for Halloween, and you guys know I love to do my Star Wars playlists and stuff, so we gonna have some good time with some Star Wars Galaxy of Fear. Thanks to your boy Logan and a few others, I've been able to acquire some of the stuff digitally to help us out with some spooky time. So it's going to be some really fun stuff, guys. So get ready for that stuff. But as always, you guys freaking know what's going on. Coming into the Dark Temple, visited by Mara Jade, Luke Skywalker, and Kyle Katarn, and so many of the Force sensitives like yourself. I'm Lord Dagovere, fam. And I'll see you around. Deuces.